Fresh Driscoll strawberries, 1 pound package, $6.99. Fresh certified Angus beef top round steak, $6.99 per pound. Tostitos tortilla chips, 10-ounce bags, hot price at $4.99. Kellogg's Special K cereal, 12-ounce box, only $6.99. Select a size roll, Bounty paper towels, hot price, $2.49. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
You're watching Bermuda Broadcasting News. It's Wednesday, May the 9th. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. A senior Corporation of Hamilton official has been ordered to appear in court in connection with a multi-million-dollar development project gone wrong. But that's just the start. Gary Moreno broke the story this morning and tells us more in this report.
The senior official in question identified to us as Corporation Secretary Edward Benavides, but he was not the only one who received such an order, we're told. It's understood former Mayor Graham Outerbridge received a similar summons, but he declined comment when contacted, and Mr. Benavides has not returned our calls. This all stems from the failed plans to have a Ritz-Carlton hotel and residences built in the city of Hamilton, a venture for which a special development order was granted in 2006. The Corporation of Hamilton, you may remember, acted as guarantor for the loan with Parlerville Car Park, the proposed site for the new hotel, put up as collateral. The developer, Parlerville Hotel and Residences Limited, was subsequently ordered to pay Mexico Infrastructure Finance Limited upwards of $19 million after the developer failed to meet the deadline for repayment of an $18 million loan, which was meant to be used as funding for construction of the new hotel property. But it was revealed during the hearing of a lawsuit brought by MIF against the developer that those funds were placed with a Gibraltar-based company called Argyle for the setting up of a credit facility meant to be used for investments. Contacted about this latest twist in the ongoing saga, Hamilton Mayor Charles Gosling confirmed to us that Corporation Secretary Mr. Ed Benavides has been served with a summons to appear before Magistrates Court on June the 4th. He explained this has to do with the releasing of funds from an escrow account to be used in seeking a permanent major investor for the Parlerville Hotel project almost 4 years ago. While not naming anyone, Mr. Gosling indicated it was his understanding that other individuals have been charged in connection with the same matter. According to the Hamilton mayor, when the newly elected council members came into office back in 2015, they were made aware of the release of the escrow funds and the guarantee that the corporation was said to support. He went on that he and other members spent many hours correcting the actions of the prior council, including seeking to void the guarantee as this was outside the council's legal remit. He asserted had any criminal action been discovered, they would have long acted on it. Mr. Gosling reminded at present there are several cases involving a variety of players before the local courts regarding the guarantee, as well as one in New York, an action in the UK to recover some of the monies lost through what he calls an ill-considered investment, as well as a Privy Council appeal to be heard in October in London. And what of Mr. Benavides as he awaits his court appearance on June 4th? Well, we can confirm that the Corporation's Council in its meeting today determined that in keeping with best practice, Mr. Benavides should be placed on administrative leave. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Gary. In other news, a National Day of Peace is being held at the National Sports Center. The event, prompted by National Security Minister Wayne Keynes, aims to remember those lost through tragic circumstances and to help support those mourning the dead. It's been addressed by a host of speakers, including many religious leaders, Minister Keynes, the governor, and many others. Many of the speakers stressed the need for unity on the island, with hopes expressed that such unity would help fight scourges such as gang crime, the racial divide, and the deaths of many of the island's young people on the roads. Well, coming up after the break, the great and the good gather at the Fairmont Southampton to discuss the fate of the world's oceans. Plus, as ever, the very latest AccuWeather forecast. That's just a few minutes away. Stay with us.
Sears is Bermuda's largest home appliance store with over 200 appliances in our showroom. We have refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, washers and dryers. Sears has a wide selection of craftsman's tools and accessories. Beautify your home with our lawn and garden tools. We have everything you need for outdoor entertaining. Located at 41 Victoria Street, Sears is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sears, reliable delivery, quality service, and everyday low prices.
Are you ready? A day you won't forget as Bermuda Salute presents Spring Fling, Saturday, May 12th, featuring two of reggae music's biggest megastars, the Queen of Reggae, MARCIA Griffiths, and the captain of the big ship, Freddie McGregor. National Sports Center, under the tent, hit after hit from MARCIA Griffiths and Freddie McGregor. Music by DJ Radcliffe, Xanadu Music Jamaica, DJ Juggling Jason, and DJ Breeze. Tickets at Pizza House, all locations, Jamaican Grill, Court Street, Wiki Licky Laundromat in Hamilton, or ptix.bm online. Hosted by Power Girl. Sponsors, Wiki Licky Laundromats, Pizza House, Pepsi, and Grotto Bay. Saturday, May 12, showtime 8 p.m. National Sports Center.
Looks like the sun, it doesn't shine for me.
Spring Fling.
Still I'm a living, trying to be free.
Welcome back. Well, the state of the world's oceans is being discussed at a high-level international conference at the Fairmont Southampton. Business leaders, royalty, and leading academics have gathered at the Ocean BRICS Summit to discuss ways to overcome the challenges facing seas worldwide. It's the first time such a comprehensive meeting of global experts has been held on the subject, with the delegates hoping to find ways to both protect and use the world's oceans. We're joined now from the meeting by our business reporter, Tony Waterman. Tony, not something we think about all the time, but the oceans are crucial to each and every one of us.
Yeah, that's right, Diana. What better place to showcase the ocean's vastness and beauty than right here in Bermuda? I think it was in grade school, perhaps, that we all learned that the ocean covers the vast majority of the Earth's surface, 71% to be exact, but it also provides an almost overwhelming number of goods and services that I think it's pretty safe to say that the majority of us do perhaps take for granted. So 4 billion people globally get their food from the ocean. Every other breath that we take is provided by the oxygen that the ocean produces. 80% of all life on Earth exists in the ocean, and it's a provider of millions and millions of jobs. That's just to name a couple of the goods and services that the ocean provides us. But the ocean is changing. Science has shown us that the water temperature is increasing, partially because the ocean absorbs more than 90% of the globe's excess heat. There's also overfishing, pollution, and the water is 30% more acidic than it was in the 1970s because of the burning of fossil fuels. Now, put this all together, and this could trigger some pretty catastrophic events, and this is what is meant by ocean risk. So you think of the usual suspects, so things like storm surges, also extreme weather events, but there's also the less thought about consequences, so things like fish migration and what that could mean for food supplies, food security. There's also geopolitical risks because populations could start migrating to different locations. And there's also the potential for the spread of disease. Earlier today, I spoke with the director of extreme events at the Geneva Association, who says that even though there are all of these risks, there's also opportunity.
Ultimately, you know, there is somebody that gets impacted by that. So, for example, if we have migration of fish from one region to another, it has significant implication on the fishing industry, and even all the way to trade and supply chain disruptions that we will see in that market. So there is ultimately, as we sort of undo this complex ocean and look at its assets, I think we will find unprecedented opportunities to really connect that risk with somebody that really gets affected by it, somebody's livelihood or somebody's, So I think now we are starting to understand that, and I think this next 10 to 15 years is creating opportunities.
So the insurance industry perhaps has some of the biggest opportunity. So a 2016 report by the OECD put the value of the blue economy at $1.5 trillion a year, and that is considered a very conservative estimate. And that is actually expected to double in less than 15 years' time as more and more people start turning to the ocean as a source of income. So you think about things like fishing and tourism, oil, gas, wind. So the opportunity there is extremely vast, but the risks associated with that that at this point are very poorly known. And so that was one of the main talking points today, trying to understand what this risk is, unpackaging this risk. Who is the most vulnerable? Actually, how valuable are the goods and services that the ocean provides us? And there's not a lot of research on that right now. So just to give you one brief example, Bermuda's coral reef is worth about $722 million a year. So that's the entire coral reef economy. So that includes tourism, but also things like coastal protection. Now, some say that the old model of risk assessment needs to be completely thrown out the window, but everybody agreeing that the only way to understand this risk and to mitigate risk going forward is to take a multi-sectorial approach.
We as a business and I think as an industry need to be focused on how we can create resilience in those communities that are going to need it most. If that means there are ways in which the insurance industry can help transfer those risks away from the communities and or the governments, then we are there to step in. We know risk and we model risk on a daily basis. If we can be a help to those people that need it most, then that's exactly what we should be doing.
Well, the insurance industry could help mitigate some of the risk around the ocean because they oftentimes will put parameters in place or requirements in place when issuing policies. So you think about things like smoke detectors in buildings, emergency exits, car alarms, seat belts, things like that. So if they put some of these same type of requirements in place when issuing coverage for insurance on things associated with the ocean, it then would bring down perhaps some of the risky behavior and some of the risk associated with it. Diane?
Thanks, Tony. Incredibly important information for us all to know. Sounds like a really informative summit. Okay, well, turning to weather news, sunny breaks with a few showers possible for our Thursday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast is brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group. We have a pretty active forecast. At the end of the week, there is a lot of activity on the satellite loop near us. A lot of clouds out there, especially to the west. But this is a slow-moving front, so it'll take a little bit of time before the widespread, meaningful rain showers actually arrive. And until this front gets here, we'll continue to see a warm breeze from the southeast, keeping temperatures up, and the moisture content is high. So we can't rule out a brief shower or two. There have been a few nearby, and we're going to see a few more later on this evening and tonight. But they'll be extremely isolated, not very widespread, and any showers that do happen to creep in are going to be fleeting. They won't last long. Look at the water vapor imagery, though. This is the X-ray of the atmosphere, as we sometimes call it. Dry air that we once had overhead is now well off to the east. There's dry air off of the east coast of the U.S. as well. But in between our front, the healthier part of the front's on the western part of this big area of blue and white, even a hint of green with some of the taller thunderstorms near the front. So the message here is that we stay humid. We're going to stay warm, and it will remain breezy as well, with just a few brief showers over the next 24 hours. Then rain becomes more likely. It's humid out there, though. It's muggy with a humidity around 85%. Winds from the southeast at 15 to 20 knots. Water temp essentially matches our air temperatures, as readings are around 74 to 75 in Somerset and Dockyard. Waves on the inside 1 to 2 feet. On the outside, we are at 3 to 5 feet, with a little more of a chop on the southeast side of Bermuda. Tonight, generally a partly cloudy, breezy night. We may see a brief fleeting rain shower or two. Won't last long. It will be a warm night, though, as temperatures only fall 4 or 5 degrees because of that muggy air and that active breeze from the southeast continuing to supply us with that humid air. So we recently had high tide. The tide's on the way back out to 10:55 tonight. Low tide comes back in early tomorrow morning, and then another midday low tide at 11:30 local time. And we don't officially have any weather alerts from the Bermuda Weather Service regarding boating hazards, but just be aware of a little bit of a chop, especially on the southeast side. So tomorrow, sun and clouds, breezy, humid, and some spotty showers will be a little more likely into the Thursday forecast, and then it becomes even more likely into Friday as well. Here is the setup. Flow from the southeast this evening. Widespread flow from the south to the north, just east of the front. And you can see there's the center of low pressure, really 2 of them. And where that air is kind of colliding with from opposing directions, that's the front. So that's going to slowly trudge east, and here it comes. Flow from the south, still warm and humid out there Thursday morning. And then we'll see a better chance for rain when this draws near and eventually crosses the area. It takes a little time, though. You can see it kind of hesitates, so we'll have an extended period of time with some clouds and showers. Up and down the East Coast, kind of a less eventful Thursday, at least along Interstate 95 if you're traveling into the big cities of the northeastern U.S. or Canada. And then we have showers and storms down into the Caribbean. Extended forecast, wet for the next couple of days, and then we get a little bit less active. Back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
This summer I was in Germany on holiday with my family, and on a whim one day my son and I joined a speed sliding competition, and as I came down the water slide I went straight down in the pool and whacked my left foot on the bottom of the pool, and I looked down and I didn't see a foot. I just saw the bones sticking out and I started to feel faint. I was ambulanced to a hospital where I stayed for 11 days and had surgery. I had snapped all the ligaments on both sides of my ankle. And in the middle of all this stress and pain, we thought, how are we going to deal with health insurance? How will we pay for this? And I got a response from Allison at BF&M, and she said, your admission and surgery will be covered at 100%. I didn't have to put it on a credit card and deal with a reimbursement later. It made such a big difference to us. And for me, the BF&M difference is stress-free insurance when I really needed it.
Welcome to Furniture Walk. At Furniture Walk, we have one of the island's widest selections of top brand home furnishings, including Stearns & Foster, Craftmaster, Natuzzi, Universal, Bassett, and many more. Whether you're freshening up your living room or remodeling your entire home, we have all the brands and top quality furnishings you'll need. We also offer in-house financing. Can't find what you're looking for in store? No problem. We can special order it for you. Our website has an even larger selection of the world's best furniture. Stop by our Paget store and we'll be happy to help you get on your way to finding the perfect selection for your home or office. Furniture Walk, furnishing Bermuda's homes for over 30 years.
For all the ways your mom says I love you, make her Mother's Day truly special with a gorgeous bouquet from Exclusive Flowers. Visit us online or call to order that amazing arrangement she exclusively deserves.
Alter and adapt continues to be the strategy for the Royal Bermuda Regiment and the death knell for conscription. Gary Foster-Skelton chatted with regiment top brass at war camp to discover their tactics for the year ahead.
A variety of weapons training was taking place on the firing range as part of the Royal Bermuda Regiment's 1 week on-island camp. It's routine to see A Company testing their aim on the range, but what has been unusual about this week's camp is the time spent at police headquarters.
This week we've been focusing mostly on public order drills and skills, so working with the police on those so that we can link up with them and operate together.
The Bermuda Regiment would usually be overseas for training at this time of year, but as the unit adapts to the elimination of conscription and looks to create a full-time boat troop, cost-saving measures are being put in place.
This year we identified our overseas camp as an area where we could both make potential savings as well as double down on our engagement with local agencies. The Royal Bermuda Regiment provides non-routine support to the police service.
Instructors from the British Army have been on island, teaching our soldiers some of the skills required to manage situations of public disorder, skills which can also be transferable to everyday life.
Basically, de-escalation, how to de-escalate a situation, even when you're not with the regiment performing our duties.
As the regiment continues to adapt to its changing role in Bermuda, more training camps are scheduled to take place on island, whereas those camps which do take place overseas will have more specific goals.
So in the future, we're going to focus on maybe joining a regional exercise. So Trade Winds is an exercise that happens every year in the Caribbean, so participating in that, as well as focusing on building skill sets that deliver an operational output. So humanitarian aid and disaster relief. Next year, we're looking to put together a specific training package for the unit that's going to focus on that, really polishing what we do rather than just doing a blanket camp.
A second recruit camp for anyone interested in the skills on offer at the Royal Bermuda Regiment takes place July 1st to 13th. Visit rbr.bm for details. Gary Foster-Skelton for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news, interactive theater with a historical bent comes back to Bermuda with the return of the Canadian theater group Live History. The company begins a short season of plays tonight, with performances taking place until the 13th of May. All will be held at the National Trust Verdmont property, and audience members can expect to get seriously involved. Hal Davis reports.
Breezes aside, it's normally a fairly tranquil place. Since being built with slave labour 3 centuries ago, Verdmont has stood in elegant seclusion in Smiths. But all this week, any hopes of tranquility are unlikely to be met.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming all this way on this so very joyous occasion.
The Live History Theatre Group will be performing all week at the National Trust property. And it's not your passive sitting on a seat and watching theatre.
So when you step into a live history show, you are part of that world. There is no fourth wall in our shows. All of our characters are going to speak to you as if you were in the late 1700s in this case. And we expect you to answer as if you were in the late 1700s. Use that vocabulary, acknowledge inventions that have just come into being. Don't let us know the future. We never know what's coming, and we like to keep it that way.
3 plays will be performed over the week, all billed as adventures through time, with the audience expected to help uncover clues and find missing objects.
They're all mysteries. So in some cases, the wedding ring is missing during the wedding rehearsal dinner, or we're looking for a treasure in order to help save the house before it's sold off, or we're looking for an inheritance that has gone missing and we're gathered after a funeral. So they all have very different themes, but they are all customized to the history of Bermuda.
So the audience will get to learn some of the island's history, with the 3 dramas all set in different periods, and many of the characters themselves are real people from the past. But how do audiences respond to having to react and talk with the actors?
Usually at the beginning they're a little bit reserved, but by the end I've seen grown adults dive under barriers to try and find clues. I've seen them grab it out of each other's hands. It's always a great time once the audience warms up and realizes we do want you to be a part of it. We do want you involved. You're right in the world with us.
The National Trust says staging the plays at Verdmont is deliberate, with the hope that the people who come to see the play will also gain an appreciation of the house itself. Perhaps then gaining a knowledge of real history by pretending to solve fictional mysteries. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Looks like fun, and the National Trust says tickets for the plays are available at their website at bnt.bm, at their headquarters in Paget, or at Verdmont itself. More news after this short break. Stay with us.
You can count on us.
Red seedless grapes only $3.99 per pound. Fresh Perdue chicken drumsticks half price $1.79 per pound. Select varieties of YOPLAIT yogurt 6-ounce tubs only $1.09. Scott extra soft toilet tissue 4 rolls only $3.29. Tide 2X laundry detergent 92-ounce bottle hot price $19.99. Save $7.06. All stores open Monday through Saturday 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Bermuda. You want it. You need it. You asked for it. Backed by popular demand. One Communications presents Razor Returns.
It was an awesome present! Oh, big fan. It was an awesome show. Amazing.
What an incredible show. I never expected it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
May 11th, 12th, and 13th, featuring a special Mother's Day show. A special Mother's Day show that will mesmerize your mind.
Mind-blowing. I can't figure out how any of that happened. I don't want to know. It was, I don't know, my mind's blown.
Razor returns May 11th, 12th, and 13th. Tickets sold at Audiovisual Hamilton and Somerset, Fairmont, Southampton, and online at ptix.bm. Sponsored in part by Exclusive Events, to Sarah's family of service stations, Photogenic Photography, Fairmont Southampton Hotel, and Exclusive Flowers. Tickets are disappearing fast, so get yours today.
Turning to sports, and Earl Baisden, as ever, has tonight's sports report.
Kamal Lavrock has set the record straight on his 2-game suspension for the ICC World Cricket League Division 4.
I'm a player that takes his preparation very serious, obviously before tournament, especially when, there's a lot of hope on me to perform well in the tournament. And there's just a bit of a misunderstanding between me and a few players where I was bowling in training, and I was bowling quite big no balls, but I do that in training. I don't have any issues with no balls in games, and I explained to them that they don't need to really comment on it at the time, because I was trying to work on something, and it just kept going. So obviously with me feeling a little bit of pressure and having to prepare and stuff in such a short time, I got a little bit heated and I lost my temper a bit. Obviously the media had a bit of embellishment on what actually happened. I didn't throw my helmet. I threw one glove after I came out the net. I didn't throw any shoes. I just flicked my shoes off in anger. I didn't throw them anywhere. They landed right next to me. I didn't throw my hat, and I kicked over a box of empty bottles. That's pretty much what happened. A lot of people have said a lot of things about me, about not wearing a Bermuda shirt ever again and stuff like that. But to them, I think they need to realize that the same passion that got me angry in training is the same passion that could win Bermuda games. And this is my first incident ever with a Bermuda tour. So I think that people should just let that be and let me get on with what I want to do with Bermuda cricket.
Meanwhile, Ray Rollins suited up for Eastbourne Cricket Club in their Sussex Cricket League Premier Division match against Preston Nomads Cricket Club. Preston Nomads won the toss and elected to field. They bowled Eastbourne out for 178. Daniel Arms was their top scorer with 79. Rollins was out for 1. In reply, Preston Nomads would score 180 for 6. Daniel Phillips was their top scorer with 42, while Arms was the pick of the Eastbourne bowlers. The figures of 5 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 27. Rollins bowled 10 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 21. Dante Lavrock and his JK Navratrans teammates went down 5-0 yesterday to FC Levadia Tallinn in their Estonia Cup semi-final. Changes to the Bermuda International Football Festival schedule have been announced. Officials stated that many of the Azores players have been forced to return on Saturday to sit exams. So officials have changed the schedule and format to as follows. Tonight we'll see West Ham United's Under-19 take on the Bermuda League Select at 6:30 p.m. Bermuda Under-19s will then take on Azores Under-19 at 9. Those matches are at BAA. On Friday at BAA Field at 6:30 p.m., West Ham United's Under-19 will take on the Azores Under-19, and then at 9 p.m. it will be the Bermuda League Select taking on the Bermuda Under-19 team. On Sunday, May 13th, at the National Sports Center at 4 p.m., the Bermuda Under-19 team will take on the West Ham United Under-19 team. Tiara DeRosa and her Shaw University women's outdoor track and field teammates closed the 2018 Central Intercollegiate Athletics Association's Conference Outdoor Track and Field Championships with 8 podium performances and finished in 4th place. DeRosa finished second in the women's discus with a top toss of 46.63 meters. With a toss of 12.53 meters, DeRosa finished 5th in the women's shot put. Day 2 of racing at the 68th Argo Group Gold Cup in the Hamilton Harbor started out a carbon copy of Day 1. The Bermuda Weather Service forecast south-southeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots, which provided plenty of horsepower for another action-packed day on the water. Overnight leader Taylor Canfield remained undefeated after 3 races on Day 2. In the first set of racing on Day 2, Canfield defeated Nicholas Dackhammer, while Maretz Stenchek defeated Charlie Lumeyer. Johnny Bertson defeated Ator Bottacini, and Lucy McGregor defeated Chris Poole. In the second set of racing on the day, Stenchek defeated Bottacini, Lumeyer got by Sam Gilmore, and Canfield defeated Trevor Mertzke. Bertson defeated Dackhammer. And in the third set of racing, Canfield defeated Lumeyer, Joachim Aschenberger defeated Stenchek, while Bottacini defeated Gilmore. Mertzke got by Poole. A team of Bermuda archers will travel to Newberry, Florida to compete in the Eastern Foundation Gator Cup Archery Tournament. The competition begins on May 11th and runs through the 13th. The Bermuda team is represented by William Pickering, who will compete in the recurve Master Male 60-meter division. In the recurve Senior Male 70-meter division, Bernard Wade III and Robert O'Connor will compete. Cameron Pickering will compete in the recurve Junior Male 70-meter division. The Bermuda Rugby Football Union have announced that their Rugby America North Championship opener against USA South, scheduled for May 12th at the National Sports Center, will now kick off at 3 p.m. On Saturday, June 2nd, the Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association will hold a swimathon at the Bassa Pool throughout the day in order to raise money to replace the current starting blocks with Merthyr track start blocks. From 6 a.m. to midnight, 3 clubs will work together to swim as far as possible and raise as much money as possible to make this happen.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again tomorrow evening, same time, same place. Good night.
Cross comes in and it's won by Clark but put back in. Huddersfield have scored and it is Naki Wells.